Hello, I will quickly show you how to apply cool shining effect to a weapon or armor mesh. So here is your basic mesh without any effect. In-game it receives the vanilla enchant glow, which is ugly, and to apply your own texture effect you have to insert texture effect, need texture effect, and it is now not attached to anything, so you have to copy it on the containing node of the meshes, so paste, and it is there. And the texture effect basic settings will be what we need. We only need to attach source texture for the glow, which will determine the color and properties of the glow. So I will just use texture that I made, like this one, and if everything is right, note that the texture effect, the need texture effect has to be under the children and under the effects property as well of the containing node, which contains the meshes, and we will delete this original texture effect. So if everything goes well, we should see something in game. Yes, as you see, the glow is now pink, and so this glow is now ugly and doesn't follow the texture of the shield itself, and to do that we will have to create an additional texture for the shield itself, which will determine where the texture effect will apply. So here is the shield mesh, and it has this texture, and we have to open it in Photoshop, and the main thing that we have to do here is create a texture where the texture is completely black, where we do not want to apply the texture effect, the shiny thing, and this texture will be completely white, where we want to apply that texture effect shine. So the easy way to do that is play with some adjustments like these curves, and what we will do is highlight the main parts of the shield, and as you see, where it is white, it will receive that texture effect, and we will save this texture in DDS format. I will name this bump texture, and it is here, and we have to apply this bump texture to the original mesh. So under the bump texture, select yes, and roll this down, select the source texture, and select that texture that we just created. This. And this will not be visible in any way. It will just determine where the texture effect is applied. And we have to play with these settings. This Luma scale mainly determines the brightness of the texture effect, and these values basically determines the sharpness of the texture effect. So I usually use these values, and it will look different now in game. Like originally it looked like this, the glow is applied everywhere, but now it is only applied to some parts of the shield, but it is hardly visible, so we have to increase the brightness of this by increasing this value, and as you see it is more visible, but still not enough visible. Maybe I will play with these values a little. Nope. So one trick I always do to increase the brightness of this texture effect is not only by increasing this Luma scale value. Instead, I will create a new copy of the whole mesh, which will be invisible in itself, but it will only receive the texture effect, you will see. So I will move it aside so you will see what is happening. So there are two copies now, and first I will delete the back side of this shield. I will not need that. And I will apply an alpha property which will make it transparent. As you see, and so now the shield itself is visible, but if I change the shield's texture to a black texture, the shield will be invisible, like this black texture. The shield will be invisible, but the texture effect on it will be visible, as you see. And also that is important that the emissive color is white. I forgot that. As you see, it is now much more visible. I will change the emissive. I could change the emissive color on the shield itself, but that would make the whole mesh too bright, so I will just do this emissive color change on this copied mesh. And if I move back this mesh, on the original mesh. Then we have the shining effect what we wanted. And actually we can make as many copies of this extra shining mesh as we want. Like if I create 2 more copies, it will be very bright, and it can make interesting results to change the bump map properties of these extra meshes. For example, if I change this to like this value, and the third copy I will change it to like this value, the shining effect will be applied in a different way, and you can play with these values to have the result that you want. And you can apply any textures, like if I want to apply some blue texture, then there will be multiple texture effects on the shield, but I will delete this. And what I wanted to show you too is that you can move the texture effect by applying a keyframe controller on the texture effect. So I will insert a keyframe controller, delete this extra mesh. So there is this keyframe controller, and I will link it to the texture effect. So the new texture effect can have a controller. I will type this 0 as the keyframe controller node had node number 0, and to make the keyframe controller work, we have to set flag 8, so it is a repeated animation. We have to set a start and stop time, like 5 seconds, and we have to press save to see this target property and the data property. We have to set the target manually, so the target is the need texture effect, which is 26, and we have to set a data for the keyframe controller, need keyframe data, and only the rotation keys will work with this type of texture effect, so I will set 3 rotation keys, rotation type linear key, and refresh. So there are 3 rotation keys from 0 to 5 seconds, and so end is 5 seconds, middle is 2.5, and to have a full rotation, the first key is 0, 0, 0, second is 180, second is 360, and now the texture effect should rotate. As you see, it is rotating. I will create 2 copies of it so you can see. But as you see, the animation is lagging, and it is because we have to set NIBS animation node. So we have to convert the parent main containing node into a NIBS animation node. Convert NIBS animation node, set 32 flag, and now it will work properly. And as you see, maybe the texture effect is only applied on too few places, so well, I can try that I will apply the original shield texture to the bump map. Yes, so it's like this. But you will have to play around with the textures and values to have the best result.